Hi everybody, this is Marion Grobb Finkelstein and this is the view from my office. Isn't that spectacular? Great looking day out there. So let's start it off by, here we go. This is me. This is inside my office now. Wanted to welcome you to say hi to everybody who's here to join us for connecting over coffee. Here's my coffee. You got yours? Yes, this is, it's probably backwards, but it says Prince George on there, which is where I was last year, and a client gave me that coffee mug, and it's probably one of my favorites. So today we're going to be talking about how to connect and communicate online by telephone. We all use it, and it all drives us nuts sometimes, both the way that we communicate and the way that others communicate using the phone. I'm going to leave you with 3 tips so that next time you're using the phone, you can do it effectively. And if you're already doing these tips, then pass them on and ask people who are connecting with you by phone to also implement them. Now, what I want to know is, can you hear me okay? Could somebody just post a comment? Let me know. The comments will appear at the bottom here. Let me know what you have to say and if you can actually hear me. So give me a thumbs up, give me a little heart, give me a comment. Let me know that you're online and that you can hear me okay. My phone may or may not be cooperating here. I'm not 100% sure that this is coming through. So whether you're listening live or after the fact, feel free to post your comments below. I will see them as we go through and I'll answer them live or otherwise. There we go. Yay. Okay. Terrific. Somebody posted a yes. You can see me. Terrific. Tip number 1 is to build communication and rapport is when you're connecting with somebody by phone, be sure to use their name. Now, if you work at a call center, you'll notice, or if you're calling a call center, you'll notice that they all do that. They all mention your name. And the reason why is because it really personalizes the information that they're offering you. It demonstrates that they heard what your name is, and they heard your concern. So mention the name, reiterate the question, the concern, if that's why they're calling, and that helps to build the rapport between you and the person on the other end of the phone who you don't even know who it is. So using the name, and then when working on something, give updates, and you're giving updates. That is when you're, for example, on a project and you've got another person on the line and they ask you a question. You might be busy calculating the answers or digging in the file or looking on your computer to get the answers for the question that they've just asked, but they don't know that. All they can go by is what they're hearing. Now, one of my big pet peeves on the telephone when I'm communicating with people is when I hear dead air on the other end. To the point that sometimes what I'll say is, hello, are you still there? Because honestly, you don't know. It's just dead air. Honor the person on the other end of the phone by keeping the energy going and acknowledge them by saying something like, thank you for that question. Let me just take a look here. I'm going to look in the file. And then if it takes more than 20 seconds, 30 seconds, let them know. I'm still looking. I found the right file. I'm now looking for the right piece of paper that I was referring to. And give them a step-by-step, blow-by-blow of what you're doing. This is really critical if you work in a phone-heavy industry. So if you're dealing with clients a lot on the phone, or if you're in a call center, it is absolutely critical. Make sure that you keep that connection by updating them with what it is that you're working on. Now, tip number 2 is you want to build trust. And you can do that in a couple ways when you're on the phone. One way is when you're dealing with the phone communication, if you say you're going to phone at a certain time, make sure you do. Colleen Francis, who is a sales guru, and if you're in sales, you'll want to check out her website, Colleen Francis, that's Francis with an I-S. Check her out. That was a tip that she offered to her clients and colleagues years ago, and I have always remembered it. If you want to build trust, say you're going to call somebody at a certain time, and then do it. If they're not available, not a problem. Leave a message. Let them know that you called. And it sounds something like this. Hi, this is Marion Grobb Finkelstein here. I told you that I would be calling at, what time is it? At 10:07 on Tuesday. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. Sorry that we didn't connect. I will give you a call on Friday at 10 o'clock. If that's not a convenient time, just email me or leave me a message and let me know what time is good for you. And then follow through. Doing what you say you're going to do is a number one primo way to build trust. Simply do what you say you're going to do. And start the call when you said, and the flip side is end the call when you say you're going to end it. We are all uber time pressed. So make sure that when somebody has been gracious to carve out 15 minutes or whatever the time allotment is that you said you were going to take, honor that. They've got other things to do, other places to be, other people to chat with, other phone calls to make. And if you begin and end when you say you're going to, it really helps build trust. You build your credibility as being a person who says what they're going to do and does what they say they're going to do. So all those little things, and they might seem like slight gestures, all those little things help to build that rapport and build that communication. Now, before I give you the third tip, I want to hear if you have any pet peeves about phone calls. Think about the last phone call that you made, perhaps, or maybe that you received. What was it about that phone call that really bugged you? I'm not sure I'm actually seeing the comments on the bottom of my screen here as we're doing this live. So I just want to test a comment. Somebody send a heart, send a like, send a thumbs up, send a comment if you can, just so I can make sure that you're getting what I'm saying here. And also the hearts and the comments help me focus on the pieces that you find really interesting, and then I can elaborate a little bit more. I'd also like to take this opportunity not just for you to tell me what are some of your pet peeves about phone calls, but to tell me what are some of your frustrations with phone calls. Hey Tracy, nice to have you online. What are some of your frustrations or questions that you would like to have answered about communicating by phone? The important thing when you're communicating by phone is to remember, unlike face-to-face communication, you don't have the visual. You can't see the person's face. All you can do is listen. So when you're communicating, keep the energy up. A trick that call centers use, it's not a trick, it's a strategy really, it's a technique, a tip, is they will keep a mirror right by their phones so that the phone will be right there, and they will keep a mirror so that they can glance at their own facial expression. And when you smile, you can hear it in the voice. You can hear the fluctuation of the voice and the tone. And women, yes, women do hear tone better than men do. It's just the way that we're wired. So when a wife says to her husband, "Don't you give that tone with me," to her child or her husband or a colleague, they really do hear it. And the same is true by phone when you're communicating on phone. So watch your tone and keep the energy up. And a way that you can do that is by keeping a little mirror or just recording yourself. It's fascinating to record yourself and then play it back and listen to that. If you're doing that just for training purposes, go for it. If you're actually recording the other person, you're going to keep that recording. You have to let the other person know. So let me give you the final tip here that I want to share this morning with you. Tip number 3 of communicating by phone, and that is you want to cement the call. You want to end it on an up note and a positive message so that you keep the bridge open and the hand is extended, and you keep the communication flowing. And you can do that by simply thanking them for the phone call. Be sure to thank them. Thank you for taking some time out to chat with me. Thank you for carving out 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you for that information that you provided. That will help me to move forward in my project. And then you can also call to action. Just recap what has happened during the conversation and what the next action, the expectation is after that, so that you ensure that you're on the same wavelength. So on that note and in that spirit, let me recap what we talked about today. Tip 1, building communication and rapport, is about use the person's name. And when you're working on something, don't leave dead air. Keep talking, give them updates, give them a step-by-step. They should never ever hear dead air on the other side. If you really do have to work on something that's going to take 5 or 10 minutes, tell them that you'll call them back. Or let them know it's going to take 5 or 10 minutes. Are you okay waiting? And then keep them up to date with the step-by-step. Tip number 2, to build trust. Do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to start a phone call at a certain time or end it at a certain time, then that is exactly what you do. That builds trust. And tip number 3 is cement the call with a thank you and a call to action and recapping what you just spoke about. Now, I do understand that sometimes people don't have questions off the top of their head and you think of them after the fact. Feel free to post them down below and I will answer to your comments below by this medium, or I will answer in my e-news. If you're not already subscribing, please do. You can catch me at, if you go to marionspeaks.com/tips, T-I-P-S, you can subscribe to my e-newsletter and you will get that in your e-news, in your email box rather, every couple of weeks. I don't spam, hate spam, and I know you do too, so I don't do that. That's it for me. I hope you're having a great day. Let me know what you thought about these tips, and more importantly, let me know how effective they are when you put them to good use. Until we see each other again, I am Marion Grobb Finkelstein, still, and I am still a communications person, wishing for you good communications, good business, good life. See you, everybody. Hey, there's Becky. Becky is one of my VAs. Becky, you rock. She is so good. She does a lot of the things that you guys don't see. And we don't talk by phone a lot, but we have spoken by phone. In fact, when I hired Becky, one of my criteria was I wanted to speak to her by phone because that's really how you build rapport. See ya, Becky. Bye, Tracy. See y'all later. Bye now. Have a good day.